Doug Gottlieb Show here on Fox Sports Radio. Rashad Jennings joins us. And by the way, the show is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save Progressive.com. Rashad, how are you?
Man, I'm amazing, and I'm laughing. There's a lot to be said about the referee piece that you just spared down. I'll be curious to wonder what he's looking at.
Well, I mean, like, look, better than it's ever been means it had never been good, right? It was like, and maybe part of it is it's always been bad, and that we do such a much better job of covering it with video that you can actually see how bad it is.
Right, and I would argue, depending on the lens you're looking through, right? If a ref watching boxing dictated his outcome based upon the crowd's oohs and ahs, he would never judge the boxing match appropriate. So I do kind of get if just because the access to internet media exposing every single bad play, yeah, of course it seems loud, but that doesn't mean that it actually hasn't gotten better.
It's an interesting point from an interesting dude who you have this amazing post-career going for you. What's that like when you retire, right? 2017, you get cut by the Giants, and you retire, right? But were you done were you actually done in your own mind with your own body?
Physically, the exertion, I was still ready to actually physically play the game. Probably for another 3 more years afterwards. I honestly could have at any point received a call and played. Right now, it would take me several months to even prepare to get ready type of thing. But no, I was still ready to play the game, but I'd retired mentally though. I moved on. I was excited to start exploring my academic side that I went to school for. I was excited to explore all the opportunities that playing with the New York Giants, playing in the NFL, having that shield behind my name could fortitude me. And that led me into Dancing with the Stars, which led me into New York Times bestseller, which led me into acting, which a whole bunch of things. I'm kind of like just a kid in this world, and it's my Toys R Us.
Just a random question. Had you not played for the Giants, would the Dancing with the Stars thing have happened?
No. It's just that simple. And that's one of the reasons why strategically I chose to become a Giant in the latter years of my career when I knew I had more years behind me than in front of me. Why not go to one of the greatest franchises, a mecca media organization in the New York Giants, because I knew I was never going to be a guy that wore a gold jacket, but I know my talents, I know my ambitions, my charisma could take me a long way, and nobody, if you can't see me, you can't think about me.
Sure.
Right, and so I knew New York will allow me to be kind of under a microscope.
What was it like? Because those are not the glory days of the Giants, right?
No.
Right? So on one hand, like having lived in New York, I could tell you that, and my late father was a lifelong Giants fan. Like in the pecking orders, Yankees. That's because the Yankees have been good, but Yankees and then Giants or Knicks and then kind of everybody else, right?
Of course.
But with that comes when things aren't going well, the negativity is multiplied. Again, because there's I remember when they drafted Saquon, and the whole thing was like, well, you should take a quarterback now because the Giants are never drafting in the top 10. They never draft, right? And then last couple years, and then they were. What was it like for you, a prideful guy who's like, and now you're in this mecca, and there's so much negativity surrounding it?
I handled it. I handled it appropriately. I understood that a responsibility of negativity is because of the players, right? We got to perform. And New York is just you see what you see is what you get.
Sure.
Right? When you perform well, they love you. When you perform bad, they just gonna let you know you're performing bad. But we already know that, so we're on the same page. We'll apologize. We're gonna get this thing right. I never took it as a negativity. I never took it personal because I understand what it means to be a fan of the game. It's not about you. It's about the ending outcome they want to see, and they deserve it in New York. And I'm happy to see they're on the right track now.
If I would have told you your freshman year at Pitt that you'd be teaching dancing, what would you have said?
Man, I said, man, get out of here, bro. What the heck is wrong with you? Legitimately, I would have said something wrong with you. But here I am teaching ballroom dance and social dance today. It's crazy.
The If in Life is your New York Times bestseller.
Yes.
How long does that process take?
It took me start to finish probably about a good 4 months. I'd say 4 months. And I did mine audibly. I
Talk
spoke,
to type?
Yeah, I spoke the whole book out and had my editors come through and make sure everything was right. But I didn't waste time behind the keyboard.
When you read it the first time, was it what you wanted it to be?
Yes, it really was. The if in life is a play on words. When you spell out the word life, if is in the middle. And I went through 15 chapters really exploiting how pivotal this little word is to the success and failures of our life. I could have looked at things with a different lens and been in a different position than I am. I'm fortunate enough I had people loving me and believing me before I knew who I was to take ownership over my own life. I had great guidance. My parents stayed together through thick and thin. My brothers beat my tail until I figured it out. And I'm fortunate enough to have family that was close enough to give me a chance. That's it. For me, it's my job to honor them by the last name in the way that I operate today.
You know, it's interesting. I was talking about LeBron, and I said, there's a lot of things that are impressive, right? How he takes care of himself, never an off the court issue, right? In 20 years. And I can tell you, I still would prefer Jordan as a player, right? And I think Bird and Magic should belong in any conversation of the greatest of all time. But maybe the thing I marvel at the best is through all of this success, and look, there are definitely moments in which he's confident to the point of being arrogant, right? Like I think we all are. But the ability to live up and exceed the expectations that were placed on him as a kid, I can't tell how impressive that is. Like he was the chosen one. Yeah, well, we say that about a lot of guys.
A lot.
And he comes out and he's as good or better than anyone could have ever thought possible. And I think what I'm hearing from you, and look, you had a much better foundation, right? You had brothers, you had two parents that supported you. He had his mom, but he was kind of that part to me, and I would guess to you as somebody who has succeeded so many times in life, has to be impressive.
No, absolutely. I marvel at his work ethic, and I often talk about and reference him and his work ethic to my nephews quite often. I don't even make the comparison between him and Jordan or whatever because I think it kind of retards the actual success and point of what he's doing in front of our eyes. Like what he's been able to do of playing the longevity, how he's taking care of his body, like you said, staying out of trouble, trying to do what's right. We watched the kid grow up. We're similar in the same age, right? So he's 37, 38, I'm 37, about to be 38. So similarly, I'm imagining, right, like this is a relative growing in front of our eyes. I marvel over it, really, sincerely. It's insane what he's been able to accomplish and still not even done yet. Right, so I think just by comparing him to Jordan takes away the actual story that's in front of us because then we get in a debate, and debating makes you refute the opposite and opposing point of view. So let's remove the debate and just look at what he's been able to accomplish in front of our eyes.
For you personally, right, you're getting married, you got a baby on the way, right? Like you are living, you are evolving, but professionally, what's next?
Professionally, many of things, but one of the things I'm most proud of is starting a forum called After I Do. I've been wanting to do this probably since I was 24, 25. And it's about men coming together, talking about what happens after they say I do. Marriage is an important, pivotal conversation that I don't see in the mainstream talks. And I think that my respect for – I studied psychology and sociology and I got an honorary doctorate degree in humanities. And the reason why is I want to be a marriage counselor in the latter years of my life when I'm 50, 55 plus. And I wanted to start this show when I was about 25, but I had enough respect for the institution of marriage to wait until at least I'm engaged before I engage with this topic because I knew nobody would take me serious. And so finally I'm in a position in my life where I'm making the next step and I'm starting a forum where guys can talk about what happens after you say I do, because many conversations that could be had. How do you handle a situation in holidays and in-laws? How do you handle a situation with politics? Do they play a matter in the relationship, and how do you handle that? There's so many of these questions that a lot of kids in society don't have the answers to, right? But they run to YouTube to see, who's a better athlete. They run to YouTube to see, who's the better artist? Who sold the most music? There are kids right now that want to find, how do I handle this situation in my marriage? Let's give it to them.
Rashad Jennings, fascinating dude, former NFL running back. Of course, The If in Life is the book. You can pick it up Amazon, wherever, audiobooks. I'm sure that it's available there. And, of course, if you need help with your tango, he's available in the tri-state area. Congrats on all your success.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me on.